We're going to talk to Beth Syverson and her adopted son, Joey Nakao. We will get into the topic of suicide and suicidality, so if you're not up for that topic today, you may want to choose another episode to listen to. If you're struggling with suicide, I want to remind you about the 988 hotline that you can call for help if you need it. Joey and Beth have been dealing with suicidality for a number of years and want to share with others what's helped them along their journey. They talk a bit about their experiences today on Adoption Uncovered. Hello, you guys, and if you would just please introduce yourself, and then we can start talking about how you're connected to adoption.
My name is Joey Nakao or Joseph Nakao. I am an adoptee from Japan, and I was adopted at 7 months old, right? I believe, and um, my adoption story really connects with my suicide story and attempt stories.
And I'm Beth. I'm Joey's mom, his adoptive mom, and I'm just walking beside him as he's working on his stuff, and I'm working on my own stuff over here. And Joey's 20. I don't know if you told us that. He's 20, so we're dealing with, letting our adult children be adults, and oof, it's hard.
How has adoption kind of figured in your life as you've gone along? Have you dealt with any other issues related to that?
I guess adoption has always been in my life and kind of affected me more negatively than I think than positively. Um, I was bullied a lot for my race because in Huntington Beach, where I live, or Costa Mesa area, it's a lot of white dominant uh, people, I guess, and there's a white supremacist like kind of little thing around in Huntington Beach, and it's just that it was unfortunate how where I was placed in school, and that's why I was bullied a lot, and it made me realize, wow, okay, I'm different. I'm not this white kid that I have a white mom, and I feel white because I'm just with all these white kids. But then when I look at myself in the mirror, it's like, no, I'm not. I have to accept that.
Yeah, bullying seems like a really big thing
Yeah.
with this generation. I feel like it's something that when I was growing up, a lot of people kind of brushed it under the rug, and it was just like, oh, it's just you grow up, you get bullied, and now we're realizing, nope, that's not how it works. It actually is a huge thing, and so um I can see where you're coming from with the bullying. That must have been just really hard for you.
Yeah.
Yes, it was. But I think I learned a lot from it that like people they judge because they don't understand. And that's what I really got from it is they're scared or they're unwilling to learn. So that's where it all comes from. It's stemming from like insecurity. And I don't take it personally that much anymore. I try not to, at least. That's why I don't let it affect me now.
Yeah.
Right. It sounds like that was a long path to get to
Oh
there.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm still learning today, to this day, and probably for my future, I'm gonna learn how to deal with things, especially like I don't know my birth parents at all, or like I know a little bit here and there about the story, but I have no connection to them, and it's like that kind of unknown about that affects my life today in like how I get a job or things like that. It really affects every little thing that I do, and it doesn't seem like it would, but it really does.
Saying I, as his mom, was not clued in to adoption trauma or any of these kind of effects. I just thought, oh, well, all right, he's gonna be fine, and I was very, you know, uninformed, naive, um, and until he kind of hit a crisis point, and then I sort of woke up. But I did not do a good job of navigating race with him at all. I thought, oh well, he's Asian. That's like practically white, but I couldn't have been, more wrong. And I feel bad that I didn't do a better job around that piece of it, the race piece and the bullying piece. I didn't even know he was getting bullied. He kind of hid it from me because probably he felt, I don't know, you can tell me, Joe, you probably felt that I wouldn't understand. Or maybe you did try and I
Yeah.
probably dismissed it because I'm like, ah, nah, it's impossible.
I think it was like more of like I didn't want you to feel bad
Oh,
protecting you because
yeah,
like I knew it was like you try so hard for me to have friends and stuff like that that when you see that like your kid getting bullied, it's not really fun. So I didn't want to disappoint you. So I'm a people pleaser, so that's where that
yeah.
stems from.
Yeah, and that's pretty common for adoptees, I think. I've talked to
Yeah.
lots of adult adoptees that are still dealing with the people pleasing. Aw. Yeah, but we're
Yeah.
working hard now and trying to help other families understand that it really, really does matter when you're a couple different races smushed together in one family, and it really affects our kids a lot. The microaggressions sting, even if they're saying positive stuff like what did people say to you, Joe?
Oh, you're good at math. Like it's stereotype. Those like kind of things like are backhanded. They're kind of backhanded compliments.
They're just
But
othering, right?
Yeah, basically.
addressing Joey's suffering is a process that the family is still going through. It has involved not only trying many different approaches to Joey's mental state, but Beth engaging with her own internal struggles. Beth has learned to trust Joey's process and help him when he requests it. Are there things that have helped or hurt through that?
Things that have helped would be like deep thinking within myself, like meditation or having spiritual work. Really hard to discern like what really helps because it may not help everyone else, you know. Meditation, grounding, just like the kind of basic things they teach really helped me. And some of them didn't work, but some of them did work. Talking to a spiritual guide really helped me understand my and reading some stuff on the and being taught by my mom really taught me who and what I am like in this world and like how to talk to myself from an older point of view to a younger point of
Beth, is there anything you want to talk about like things that have helped you or you thought were beneficial?
Yeah. Well, just want to say that when Joey was 15, 5 years ago, he had a suicide attempt that, landed him in the psych hospital the first time. And there have been several other psych hospital stays, and he's just struggled with somewhat chronic suicidality for a long time. And it's been really difficult to deal with because, God, it's hard to watch your kid in so much pain that they would rather not be here. It's really, really, really hard as a parent to watch that and to sometimes need to intervene or to be there when he's feeling so suicidal. But I found that the thing that has helped him is me helping myself, finding my own grounding, doing my own work. I ended up finding a life coach that helped tremendously. Her name is Heather Ross. She's been amazing. And I've found other therapies. I'm in EMDR and I've done a lot of reading and just trying to find my own grounding. Because if I'm like crazy, like totally off the hook, unable to deal with myself, there's no way I can be there to help him. So that's been so in our podcast. I always say I have this 20-year-old son, Joey. He's amazing. I'm walking beside him while working on my own personal growth and healing. It would be super easy for me to just sit and help Joey all the time and tell him what to do and find him this and that treatment and da 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 da. And I did try that actually for the first year or so, but it made him feel like a big project and did not really help him very much at all. And it helped much more when I took care of my own mental health.
as soon there's this whole shift in when we were it was in chaos after the suicide attempt and then all of a sudden they started learning about like this way of parenting and then like kind of backing off of this like helicoptery kind of style, I guess.
Mhm.
But when they got down, when I got it kind of started, everything kind of shifted, and it was like, okay, I have a little more space to like to breathe. That's just one thing that I needed. It was not this parading of like, are you okay? Are you okay? Or you need this, you need this help. And it was like, oh, okay. I can finally think for myself and think what I need and think about because they were telling me what I need. I never thought about what I wanted.
Yeah, it's hard to let your child, your young adult child or your older teen child find their path, but that's exactly what they have to do. They have to find their path. I can't do it for you. I wish I could. I wish I could get in there and just move your arms and legs and control your brain, but that is not healthy for you or me. I got enough to worry about over here on my end. So it's been a very big learning path for both of us, I would say. And we're
Yeah,
both still here. So
yeah, yeah.
we're just going to keep
Fingers
going
crossed.
one day at a time.
That is an interesting perspective to hear that. Okay, the key isn't have your kid do this, have your kid do that. It's kind of like, okay, tune in and try to just listen and stand back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's harder.
Way
yeah,
harder.
way
Way
harder. But
harder.
in
Because
the
we
end,
think we know what
yeah,
they should be doing. We think we know the way, but there are many ways to healing and recovery, and he will find his own way. He is finding his own way.
Joey, when your mom is standing back, what is helpful about that? What like do you still need help like having her connect you to services, or are you just happy to know that there's someone behind you, or what are you feeling when
kind
she's
of
doing things
both of
help?
those examples were true. It's like as long as I know I have someone that loves me and is always there to support me, that really helps. But as long as they're not constantly on my butt about like, are you okay? Or you need to be doing this for your health. Because they trust me. It's giving me the trust that there's going to be something good that comes out of you being independent.
I try to say, do you need to just vent or do you want help? And most of the time he'll say, I just need to vent. Please don't solve this, mom.
Yeah.
But occasionally he says, no, I do. I really don't know what to do. Please tell me what to do. So
Mm.
I try to let him lead it. I'm not always successful, but I try.
Well, I think it's interesting, Joey, that you call it, feeling like she trusts you. Because there's a lot of things like parents can sit here worrying, do you feel abandoned? Do you feel, and you're feeling that, oh, she trusts you. So that
Yeah.
is not always a connection I would make as a parent, that is what you are feeling.
That's the thing of parent and child relations that we misunderstand what we're thinking when we just come together and talk, like really talk about it, like face to face. You break down that misunderstanding, and you can really understand from a true heartfelt like what they want and what they want to give to you and what they want to receive and the boundaries. And that's what me and my mother has done is we've sat down and been honest, like completely honest with each other, with what is going on and what boundaries are needed to be set so
Mhm.
that there's nothing, no overstepping or understepping if there is.
And it's hard because sometimes it's literally terrifying sometimes because some of the stuff Joey's doing as a older teen slash young adult is really scary and risky. And I can't walk with him every single place he goes. He needs to figure out where his limits are. And so it's just letting go, I believe in you, Joe. You've got this. I trust you. Okay. I'm backing off.
And you mentioned, Beth, that sometimes, you're asking, okay, do you need to vent? Do you need something else?
Hmm.
But you guys, while sometimes you've talked, you've also um had services, and you've involved other people. Like, when did you know when to cross that line? It's like, okay, now we need a service, or
Mm.
now we need to just vent.
Yeah. For like if there's high enough suicidal ideation or homicidal ideation, we get into like we say HI or SI, like what number are you at? If it's over like a 6 or 7, we go like we say, okay, yeah, you probably need some professional help. But if it's like under that, we can probably hash it out, talk to it. But if there's other things not related to HI and SI, like I can't think of anything.
Well, maybe with substances,
Yeah,
there's things that are constantly on the table that he knows he can access. He has access to rehab anytime through our health insurance, and it for no cost to him, and really almost no cost to us. It's really, really great. But he doesn't always want to access that, which is his prerogative. He gets to figure out how he's going to walk that path. And sometimes when he does get suicidal, like I say, what's your SI? What's your suicidal ideation on a scale of 1 to 10? Like, how strongly are you thinking about suicide? Usually it's like a 2 or 3, kind of on the regular, which I wish it was 0 all the time, but it's usually 2 or 3. But when it goes, 6 or above, I'm like much more present. I check in more frequently. I try to meet with him. I say, can I come over? Can we go for a walk? Can we, and I just try to help regulate him. And usually it pulls it right back down.
I feel like kids your age can be all over the place. They can be like really into their feelings and not being able to differentiate. And it sounds like you've chosen to kind of teach yourself how to take a step back and gauge this stuff. Like what was the difference? What made you decide to learn that about yourself?
I really don't know how I ended up like this, but I guess I'm happy to know that I can do some things that is hard for other people to do.
Mm-hmm. And it helps me greatly that he can communicate with me about it. And some people think that if you talk about suicide, that the person will do it. It's the opposite. It's kind of like sex ed. If you talk about it more frequently, they'll be less apt to do risky behavior. So we talk about it all the time, a couple times a week. What's your SI? That's our shortcut for it. But
In the severity of my case, I think because if someone wasn't chronically suicidal, like you don't bring it up. You wouldn't just bring it up, like, hey, are you suicidal?
yeah, that's probably true. But it's important to have it on the table as a topic that's
Oh yeah,
safe for people, for a kid to talk to the parents without the parents freaking out. I mean, that
yeah,
took me some practice, I'll tell you, because when you hear your kids saying they're suicidal, wah,
yeah,
it's very anxiety provoking, and you're just like, oh yeah, oh yeah, what should I do? Ah. So
yeah.
it takes a lot of mindfulness and just literally practice. Just and when I take a deep breath, he'll take a deep breath. But I've learned, don't tell.
Don't tell
Joey's
people
yelled at
that.
me before. Don't tell me to take a deep breath.
Yeah,
Don't tell me to relax. That doesn't help. But if
yeah.
I just take the deep breath and keep myself as calm as
You
possible,
mirror
it
it.
helps him.
It mirrors. Like
Hmm.
for me, whenever she takes a deep breath, but without saying take a deep breath, it's like I feel like obligated to take a deep breath. It's not obligation, but like this sense of like, okay, I'm out of line.
For you, Joey, this is just part of day-to-day life. And I don't know, do you view that as you're just built in this way, or it's part of your experiences, or a combination?
That's a great question. I would say it's kind of a both. I think it's the acceptance of where I'm at and what uh is really important in my life. Every experience that you have like in life is going to teach you something. That's like the biggest lesson I've learned is that even the worst things that like thinking about being at a point where you don't care if you die, like to like point of view attempting it, that's very, very it hurts and it's very sad and I'm sorry for anyone who's going through that. But you will learn if you get through it about why and you'll understand why you were feeling that way. And I know that's why you're doing probably that. I'm talking to people that may be going through this is that that you're searching for something to get out of that feeling. And to get out of that feeling, you can learn through not doing that.
Hmm.
It sounds to me to hear you talk like that you've made that choice to be
Yeah.
in that position and be like, okay, I'm going to learn. Like I view that, like I think you have a choice, and it sounds like you made that choice. Like I'm here. If I'm here, I'm going to learn something. I feel
Yes.
like that is a really great way to view that and to portray that to other people.
And one thing that's helped me, a concept around suicidality that's helped me tremendously, it comes from internal family systems work, the parts work, which I highly recommend as well. Um, and that people that feel suicidal, they have a suicidal part. It's not their whole part, their whole body or their whole mind that feels suicidal. It's a part that feels suicidal, and that suicidal part is trying to help. It's like, oh, I see you're hurting so badly. Let me remove this hurt from you. And it doesn't really want the whole organism to be dead. It just wants the pain to be dead.
Yeah.
And so when I told that to Joey, a light bulb went on in his mind. And I think that that concept helps both of us tremendously. He's like, okay, that suicidal part needs something. It needs a shift in something. Something needs to change, but not for your whole body to die, but for something to die. What needs to go away for you to be in a better place? So
Or what
that
needs to
concept is,
be added on? Is
or
it
add
change?
on.
What needs to
Yeah.
change? What needs to
Something needs to
change?
shift and change. Yeah.
I feel like that can make it less overwhelming. It's like, okay, this isn't an overall
Yep.
I want to
And
die.
you
It's
can
like,
even,
okay, well, maybe we can break it down. Maybe you can look at pieces.
yeah,
Yeah,
we
And
even have a
exactly.
chat with that suicidal part. What do you need, suicidal part?
Yeah.
It's, that movie Inside Out, that Disney movie? It's like
oh yeah.
that. So one of the people, behind that dashboard is the suicidal part that's trying to help. They're always trying to help the parts. And so you say, hey, what do you need?
Yeah.
What
And
do you do?
then through talking to that part, you can possibly find out what is causing that so you don't have to hurt anymore.
Yeah.
Have you found that to be true sometimes if you have that conversation with the part?
Yeah, I've actually gotten pretty bad sometimes, and then my mom just says, "Okay, what does that part really need?" And then it's like, "Oh, I." Sometimes it even is as simple as food. Like I just needed to eat, and
Ah,
then it was, but then as severe as like I, I was fired from a job or something like that. It, ca- you just need to figure out what is causing this little bit of disruption in like your mind, and it can be a scale of things.
Hmm. Yeah.
well, that is really good insight. I appreciate you bringing that up, and that sounds like a good tip. And of course, it's a complicated thing,
Yeah.
but to have little glimpses of, oh, maybe this can help, maybe this can help, things to try. I feel like that can be very uplifting and encouraging.
Mm-hmm. Joey's getting pretty good at it. He's very insightful for a 20-year-old at least, or for any age actually. He's very insightful and open to these kinds of ideas, and I'm super proud of him.
Beth and Joey made the choice to open their struggles to the wider world in the hopes that others can learn from their experiences.
I think it helps a lot that for Joey and me to help share our story. It helps you, right, Joey? I don't want to speak for you.
Yes, yes, yeah. No, no, it does.
Right. And I know that's been part of your path for a while now is both of you getting out there and talking to other people and sharing your story. And so what brought you from, okay, we have this inner struggle to like we are gonna put it out there. Like what brought that about for you guys?
It was kind of the podcast idea. Just we were in the car just driving, and then it was the whole beginning of the podcast. But our whole idea was one to just help at least one person with our story, and we succeeded in that. But I think the next goal is to continue helping these people that we've helped to support and nurture, because I'm still going through stuff in my life that people may need to hear, and it's it's a never ending kind of process, I guess.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you're not saying, okay, I have it figured out and I'm going to tell you my secret. It's that, well, it's an ongoing
Yeah,
thing
Yeah.
you're still learning from.
It's like an
well, that's the truth.
unfolding probably for the
Yeah.
rest of our lives. Yeah.
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 And there may be some like lessons I've learned that are solid and help me, and I can give pass that on to others. But in the broader cases, I'm still learning.
Beth, too, this is sort of vulnerable on your side. How did you decide that you wanted to go public with your side of it?
Oh yeah, for sure. People have all sorts of judgments about adoptive parents or about, oh man, what did you do wrong that your kid is suicidal?
Mhm.
I think I remember distinctly, it was about day 5 of Joey's first psych hospital stay. I just remember this flip in my brain, and I talked with Joey about it. It's like, we have no F's left to give. We're not going to hold this tight as a secret. We're going to tell our family and tell our friends what's going on, because we think that secrets and hiding things and pretending things are okay is really dangerous,
It causes
especially with
more,
suicidality.
yeah,
What's that?
it causes more chaos in
Yeah.
the end. That hiding, and because you think you're protecting someone, but in the end, it fills it up for like, oh, why didn't you tell me this? And then it could be gone already or something like that. And it's it's that just be straightforward with it if you can. That's like it helps just
Yeah.
clear the air, I guess.
Yeah. And we really want to help other people. And it does make me vulnerable, particularly on social media. People go after me all the time. But I feel so strongly, and Joey and I feel strongly together to help other parents. I know there are lots and lots and lots of adopted kids struggling with this. Adopted people are 4 times as likely to attempt suicide as non-adopted people. I didn't know that statistic. I wish I would have. I would have been much more cautious or paying attention when Joey was an adolescent, young adolescent. So I am willing to take the barbs and the getting beat up occasionally online, because I have this higher goal of, helping other families to understand the depths of these complex issues that our kids are going through.
And you guys are putting yourself out there so many different ways. I know you're coming out or have just come out with a book.
Yeah, it'll be coming out soon. I'm just self-publishing it, so I don't know. It'll be soon. It's called Adoptees and Suicidality. It's going to be a short little book. I'm hoping it'll be a great resource for parents and therapists and teachers or allies to really understand, and adoptees too. So Joey and I wrote the first part. I have my part in my voice, and then he has his own part in his voice. Then the whole middle section is 15 different adoptees and birth parents talking about suicidality in their own lives. And then the third section is a giant list of resources of all sorts of things about adoption and suicide together.
Are there any resources or anything that you guys have done that you would point people to that you would recommend? Like um I know you said you were doing kind of work on yourself, Beth, that was really supportive. Like what tips would you give to parents or teens of things that you have found really helpful?
Sure. For me, there's like many different ways to like um find that like help that you need. The resources is there's resources for family, like me and my mom, let's say, are having an issue, like but then there's also interpersonal, like with yourself. That's the for the interpersonal, I would that's kind of hard to find someone to like help you find yourself. So that's a very kind of meditation driven and self driven for me at least. But there's possibly other people or sciences that can really help with you getting into your um, mind and stuff. So there's I guess there's EMDR, there's psychedelic therapy, ketamine therapy, not only just like substance therapies, but there's
Breath work.
breath work, yes, and that those are some things that you can do for yourself, for
Mhm.
like relationships and stuff. My mom can probably be better at helping with that.
Well, I can talk about the resource that I created that Charlene's actually in is the Healing the Adoption Constellation database. There are, I think, 75 people in it right now, and she and I are both coaches, and there's all sorts of psychotherapists and astrologers and Reiki masters and play therapists and all sorts of different people, but we all work in the adoption constellation, and most of us are in the adoption constellation. A few are allies. But if anyone's looking for help, either coaching or therapy or someone for your kid, this database is called Healing the Adoption Constellation Database. It's at unravelingadoption.com/healing. And you can literally search for the age of your kid, or if you would like to find a birth mom therapist, or if you want to find somebody that works in Nevada, or any other, different combination, you can find a person that can help you that really understands the adoption piece, which I think is really critical.
To learn more about Beth and Joey and the projects they are working on to help the adoption and addiction community, take a look at my website, adoptionuncovered.com. And thank you.